What does it mean to be truly alone when you're surrounded by the echoes of those who promised to be there? On the evening of my 45th birthday, I sat at a table set for 8, the clinking of my own fork against the plate the only sound in a room meant for laughter and warmth. The restaurant, La Bella Vita, was everything I'd imagined: crystal chandeliers casting golden light, the scent of fresh rosemary and roasted garlic wafting from the kitchen. I had planned this night for weeks, meticulously choosing the menu, the wine, the perfect corner table with a view of the city skyline. 8 invitations sent, 8 confirmations received. Friends, colleagues, my wife, Clara all had said yes. Yet, as the clock ticked past 7, then 8, the chairs remained empty, and my heart sank deeper into silence. The day had started with promise. I woke to Clara's soft kiss, her whispered, "Happy birthday, James," warming me like the morning sun. She had a meeting, she said, but she'd meet me at the restaurant by 7 sharp. My friends, Mark and Sarah, texted their excitement, promising to bring their famous banter. My brother, Tom, called from across the country, swearing he'd flown in just for this. My colleagues, Lisa and Raj, teased about embarrassing toasts. Even my old college buddy, Nate, who I hadn't seen in years, confirmed he'd make the trip. I felt loved, tethered to a life rich with connection. So, I booked the table, my chest swelling with anticipation. By 6:30, I was at La Bella Vita, adjusting my tie, smoothing the tablecloth, checking my phone. No messages. No missed calls. I sipped water, the waiter's polite smile lingering a little too long. At 7:15, I texted Clara. No reply. I called Mark straight to voicemail. Sarah, Tom, Lisa, Raj, Nate all the same. By 7:45, the waiter, a young man named Luca with kind eyes, gently asked if I'd like to order appetizers. I nodded, more to fill the silence than out of hunger. The bruschetta arrived, vibrant with tomatoes and basil, but it sat untouched, a cruel mirror of the empty seats. I tried to rationalize it. Maybe a traffic jam? A last-minute emergency? But as the minutes bled into an hour, the truth settled like a stone in my gut. They weren't coming. Not one of them. Not even Clara, who'd promised to share every birthday with me until we were old and gray. I stared at the flickering candle, its flame dancing alone, and felt a hollowness I hadn't known since childhood, when my father forgot my 10th birthday, leaving me waiting on the porch with a baseball glove he'd never throw. Then, a twist in the evening I hadn't expected. Luca, the waiter, approached with a small, leather-bound notebook. He hesitated, then sat across from me, uninvited but not unwelcome. Sir, he said softly, I've seen a lot of nights here, but none like yours. Mind if I share something? His accent was faint, Italian, carrying a warmth that cut through my fog. I nodded, too tired to refuse. He opened the notebook, revealing pages of handwritten names and dates, each with a small note. This, he said, is my list of people who dine alone. Not because they have no one, but because sometimes life it forgets them for a moment. He pointed to a name: Elena, August 12, 2023. She was 70, celebrating her retirement alone. Her kids canceled last minute. I sat with her, and we talked about her travels. She left smiling. Another name: Michael, March 5, 2024. Lost his job, came here to feel something normal. We shared a coffee. Luca's eyes met mine. You're not the first to sit alone, James. But you're not invisible. His words hit like a lifeline, pulling me from the edge of despair. I hadn't told him my name, yet he knew it likely from the reservation. Still, it felt like a small miracle. Luca didn't leave. He poured me a glass of Chianti, compliments of the house, and shared stories of his own growing up in a small village, moving to America, working nights to fund his art. He wasn't just a waiter, he was a painter, a dreamer, someone who saw beauty in the overlooked. For the first time that night, I laughed, a sound that felt foreign in my throat. I told him about my work as an architect, designing buildings that stood tall but felt empty without people to fill them. I confessed how Clara's absence stung the most, how I wondered if our marriage had cracks I'd ignored. As the restaurant emptied, Luca brought out a slice of tiramisu, a single candle glowing in its center. "Make a wish," he said. I closed my eyes, not for wealth or success, but for clarity to understand why this night had unfolded this way. I blew out the candle, and Luca clapped, a boyish grin breaking his professional demeanor. For a moment, I wasn't alone. When I finally left, the city was quiet, the skyline glittering like a promise. My phone buzzed a text from Clara. "I'm so sorry, James. Work emergency. Can we talk?" I didn't reply, not yet. The others sent apologies too, each a variation of, "Something came up." I could have been angry, but Luca's notebook lingered in my mind. Life forgets people sometimes, but it doesn't mean they're unloved. The next morning, I called Clara. We met at our favorite cafe, and she explained a crisis at her law firm, a client threatening to walk, hours of chaos. She hadn't meant to hurt me. I believed her, but I also saw the truth. We'd both been coasting, assuming love would carry us without effort. I told her about Luca, about the notebook, about dining alone. Her eyes welled up, and she reached for my hand. "I'll never let you feel that again," she whispered. Over the next weeks, I reached out to the others. Mark and Sarah had been stuck in a family emergency. Tom's flight was cancelled. Lisa and Raj had misread the date. Nate had gotten lost in the city. Their reasons were valid, human, but they didn't erase the sting. I realized I'd been waiting for others to define my worth, expecting their presence to validate my day. Luca's kindness had shown me something else. Sometimes, the most unexpected connections remind you of your own resilience. I returned to La Bella Vita a month later, this time alone by choice. I asked for Luca, but he wasn't there. The manager said he'd moved to pursue his art full-time. I smiled, imagining him painting somewhere vibrant, his notebook tucked away, filled with names like mine. I ordered the tiramisu again, savoring its sweetness in the quiet. This time, the silence didn't feel heavy. It felt like peace. What does it mean to be truly alone? Maybe it's not about the empty chairs, but about finding meaning in the space they leave behind. That night, I learned that even when the world forgets you, there's always a stranger, a moment, a flicker of light to remind you that you're still here, still worthy of being seen.